In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. It's another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix with yours truly, Bryce D. Nyer, coming at you live from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. Woo! We are in the house tonight, and we have our favorite law mascot, Drake, our Labrador Retriever. He is in here with us tonight, and I'm having some hot tea with some honey, but no bourbon, no shots, no whiskey, no nothing. Wish I did, but I don't. So listen, we got a great show tonight. We're going to talk about something I think everybody's experienced one time or another in their life, and that's about laws. Kind of like Marsha. Right, laws. And I read something today that I posted on TikTok, but I quoted somebody that probably a lot of you don't know who he is. And the statement, the more corrupt the state, the more laws. I'll say it again, the more corrupt the state, the more laws. That was authored and said by Tacitus, however you pronounce it. He was a Roman historian and senator born in AD 56. And he chronicled the history of Rome, covering the period from AD 14 to around 96 AD, toward the end of the first century. And this guy, he wasn't too fond of imperial power. Now, I will tell you that he was, from what I've read about him, very smart, very intellectual. If I'm not mistaken, he married somebody way up there in power, the daughter. Just impressive. So let me see. From what I can gather, he married the daughter of Gaius Julius Archelaus, a prominent Roman general and governor of Britain. Wow. So he married into some power there. So when I was reading about him and reading about kind of a little bit about him, you know, what they say about him is he had a sharp wit. They said he had a more insight and a skepticism, as I just said, of imperial power. And he often was critical of emperors like Tiberius, Nero. Oh man, we know about crazy Nero. Let Rome burn. About killed everybody, including members of his own family. Of course, then we had before Nero had Caligula. He was crazy town too. And then Domitian. Domitian was toward the end of the first century. He's the one that actually exiled the Apostle John to Patmos, where John wrote Revelation. And he was the only one of the disciples that's recorded to died a natural death. But getting back to this issue about corruption, look, I'm going to tell you something. The law, you can say what you want, but my experience, it's corrupt. I'm telling you, it's like a RICO violation walking. Now, I know that's going to upset some of you law students, some of you new lawyers be like, oh my God, but I watch Perry Mason and Matlock, and they win all the time against the bad guys, and they're the good guys. Yeah, whatever. I'm here. I'm going to burst your bubble a little bit, you law students and you young lawyers. Yeah, well, guess what, boys and girls? The legal system is not always this truth-seeking vehicle at all. In fact, a lot of times it's a vehicle for baseless vindictive litigation, and we've talked about that on other episodes. But as I look at what's going on in the world today, how the corruption and the delusion and deception, they continue to use the justice system, the legal system, i.e. it is the legal matrix, in order to silence people who live and operate in truth. And if you go on the attack against the corrupt elites, they will just attack you. But here's the thing, if you don't stand up, if you do nothing, excuse me, they're just going to roll right on over you. And what do you want to do? Are you going to live your life in fear? I mean, how long is that going to go on? And every time I turn around, I kid you not, I mean, the U.S. Congress and the state legislatures and the county municipalities and city commissions and county commissions and everybody else under the sun that is appointed or elected to some stupid office write some stupid law coming out of nowhere for what? For power, for control. And it's just, it's true. I mean, this statement that he said, and the more corrupt the state, the more laws. It's true. I mean, look at your own life. So I don't know how old some of you are, maybe in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, who knows? But you've clearly lived long enough to see the difference in certain laws that have been passed during your lifetime. And when I look at some of the laws our U.S. Congress, our state legislature passed, I'm like, okay, they're smoking some dope in the back room. They got a crack habit. I'm just like, where in the hell are they coming from with all these laws? I just like, what? And sometimes if you Google, like, what are the most stupid, arcane, outdated laws still on the books in the United States? If you Google it, it's pretty wild of what some states still technically have on the books. And it just makes you shake your head. But the new laws that come out and the new things that they do, it's like they don't want you to think for yourself. They just want you to do. Like, they feel like you're too stupid. They're like, yeah, the more laws we have, the better society's going to be. It's just going to be perfect. It's going to be utopia. Well, where are we now? Because the world is on fire. It's burning to the ground, and people are crazy. And you just can't fix stupid. Stupid is contagious, whether you believe that or not. Just look around you, look around the world, and you will see that stupid is running rampant, spreading faster than the so-called COVID did. So we can talk about that corruption law that went on back in 2020 and 2021 and all that insanity and corruption using what? Using laws. I mean, let's go back and take a look at about laws. Okay. Everything you do in life, everything is governed by some law. Like, I want to go fishing. Okay. Law says you got to have a fishing license. What? Yeah, can't catch that big old bass without having a fishing license, or the popo is going to come and ticket you for not having your fishing license. I want to go hunting. Got to have a hunting license. What? Yep, that's true. You can't go shoot old Bambi without having that license. That's right. Oh, what about driving? Okay, like what, 200 years ago? Could you imagine? Hey, you got to have a license to ride a horse. What? I mean, you got to have a license to drive. Why can't you just go to driver's ed school or drive? Why do you have a license? Never understood that one, I guess. I guess for ID purposes. So when they pull you over, they know who you are, I guess. I mean, like getting married. Okay. Well, back in the day, I'm pretty sure God didn't say, hey, wait a minute, you got to go down to the local municipality and the courthouse, go get a marriage license, and then it's okay with me. I'm like, oh, okay, Lord. No, that didn't happen. But then all of a sudden, now, today, you can't get legally married in the state or American territory without having a marriage license, also their crappy paperwork. And that's just so more laws so the state government can control you and what you do. And the same thing with divorce. You're like, hey, I'm sorry, this warranty doth expired on this marriage because it just sucks. But you know what? You can't get a legal divorce unless you file a lawsuit in the court having the proper jurisdiction, meaning authority over you and your one you used to love but don't love no more. And then you got to go through that hellish nightmare, hiring people like me to translate that insane legal crap you read that you can't understand. And so we're the people that wrote it that you can't understand, that you have to pay to translate it and then go represent you in court. I guess someday AI will just have a bunch of kiosks in there. You'll push a button and some human figure will come on and you'll answer a bunch of questions and it'll just automatically spit everything out and go, guess what? You're now divorced. Thank you. That'll be $500. And there you go. You'll be done. I see that coming down the pike. But yeah, I was just sitting there, this morning after my workout going, oh my God, there's just like laws for every freaking thing. I can't turn on social media. I don't even watch TV anymore. But even if I turn on TV, there's something coming up about a new executive order, a new law they're proposing at the state or the federal level. It's just like I was reading, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago about California. Now, remember all the big fires in California? And they're like, don't worry, we got this covered. We're not going to take all your property and use it for, low-income housing, blah, blah. Well, that's exactly what the hell they're doing in California. That state, California, they are a crazy town when it comes to what they do out there. People say, well, the big things and legal things start in California on the West Coast and then make its way eastward eventually because they're so progressive. They're not progressive. They're stupid. Like really stupid. I've never seen such stupid arcane laws come out of any state, more so than the state of California. Now, I got to tell you, New York and some of them northeastern states, I hate to say it, at the state government levels, they're running a close runner-up for laws, and more laws. It's like you just can't do anything without some law being passed. Now, don't get me wrong. Some laws, some laws, I guess are beneficial. You don't want to have total anarchy and chaos, but it's kind of like the gun laws. Here's the one I love. It's a gun-free zone. Oh, okay, I'm a criminal. So I know they don't let people in like certain places with a gun. Well, that's like going to shoot sitting ducks. That's just stupid too. What it should say is everybody here is armed. You come in here and you try and rob or commit a crime. There's a good chance you're going to get a toe tag. Yeah, baby. And you're going to be like graveyard dead. But no, they've put up stupid signs like, this is a gun-free zone and we don't allow guns and we don't allow people because we're afraid they might shoot somebody. Well, yeah, if there's a perpetrator trying to kill me or hurt me, there's a good chance that if I have a weapon, I'm allowed to use it. Then yeah, they might get some lead poisoning. But you see what I'm talking about here? When you really look around this country today and you look around the world, I've got to tell you, it's just understanding, that these laws are they're getting out of hand. I swear that our Congress and the state legislature just justify their positions, their little benefits, just to write more crap that is just so stupid that we don't need. I remember back years ago, hadn't been that long, when they passed I call it the Non-Affordable Health Care Act. I don't know if y'all remember this, but it was like, 2,200 pages long or some crap like that. And nobody even read it. Barely any, I don't think anybody read it. They just passed this crap into law. And then the next thing you know, all hell started breaking loose. You couldn't get health insurance. Premiums were skyrocketing. Didn't have access. You had these high deductibles like $7,500, $9,000, $10,000. I mean, it was just stupid and ridiculous. And they said, because you need us, you need the government. Ooh, here's a clue. When you hear that the government's just here to help, oh yeah, that's like, oh, okay, I want herpes too. No, you don't. The government's not here to help. The government works for us. But instead, this vicious RICO walking machine, this organized crime syndicate, they just pass more laws, and more laws to do what? To keep you under control. And they become more corrupt. Because the more laws that they have on the books, the more control they have over you and me and everyone else. And then it just becomes a clown circus. But it's a dangerous clown circus. I look at what's going on even in other countries. I mean, like the UK and, in particular, obviously England and Scotland about, their hate speech laws. And now they're monitoring social media, just dig and look for anybody that criticizes the government or some particular religion. And they go crazy town. And they start persecuting, prosecuting, and putting people in prison. And I'm shocked at what's going on in England and the UK. I mean, that's where the Magna Carta came from, which kind of influenced freedoms and justice and all that. And you know what? No wonder back in the 1770s, the colonists said, you know what? We're done with this. They picked up some muskets and said, we're done. We're done. You all got to go back home across the pond. We're done here. And next thing you know, bullets started flying. And then, went on for like 3, 4, 7, 8 years, the American Revolution, till Cornwallis surrendered, and then ultimately did a peace treaty and all that, formed out of those colonies, United States of America. But look what it took. And what's it going to take now? What's it going to take now to stop all this corruption? And can we stop the corruption? I mean, you law students and you young lawyers, if you become part of this legal matrix, this insanity, then all you're doing is feeding it. You're just becoming a co-conspirator with corruption. And for me, I'll just tell you personally, I can't stand it. I walk into courthouses sometimes and I'm like, and I watch what's going on and I litigate stuff and I'm like, it just makes my head want to explode. I swear to God, I want to take a pencil eraser and just cut my wrist with it. Because it's just this insanity of rules and regs and executive orders and laws. It just doesn't stop. It just multiplies. It does. It's a bad thing. We don't need more laws on the books. We need just to enforce the laws that really do something positive and get rid of the stupid ones. And the reality is most people don't even, when people pay attention to laws, I'll tell you when they pay attention to laws. When they're going through a divorce, yeah, you betcha. They get a speeding ticket, you betcha, or the IRS comes a calling. Or they take away the cigarettes, access to cable TV, those sort of things. Yeah, then people go crazy town. Oh, now it matters. Well, by then, it may be too late. I mean, go back and think about what happened during COVID. Yeah, all those laws, executive orders, crazy town across the globe. And what did it do? I'm going to tell you what it did. It took away freedoms. It took away freedoms and killed a lot of people in the process. Sure did. Big money, big pharma, big government, one world order, Orwellian policies, all happened because of what? Laws, and what? More laws that were stupid and Orwellian and were passed into life, breathed into life to do what? To control you. To control you. It's the same thing in the legal profession. You can't go walk in a courtroom and practice, be in the active practice of law unless you take and pass the bar exam and then get admitted to the particular state bar or the territory or country, wherever the hell you're going to practice law. And then they tell you like, well, it's a test to make sure you know what you're doing. Ooh, here's some news flash for you law students and young lawyers. You don't know what the hell you're doing until you actually get out there and get in the field. Your academic testing, it's just a rendition of the academics and laws, some of which you'll use and some of which you may never use. But the reality is, again, it's another example of rules, regulations, and laws that's supposed to protect the public at large, like we're all stupid. Well, guess what? There are a lot of stupid people in the world, but not everybody's stupid. And the government just assumes like you're stupid and we need to babysit you. So we'll pass more laws so we can take care of you, and you can binge watch TV and go have your crappy, stupid beer or whatever the hell it is you drink, or your sissy drinks with umbrellas in it. I don't know. But again, this whole thing, I love the statement. The more corrupt the state, the more laws. I mean, that guy was just a damn genius. And we're talking back in the first century. And I'm sure that guy saw a lot. Born in AD 56, around, just not even, 20 years, 23 years since the death of Christ. And he was, there in Rome and watching, all the Christians rise and come there and going through the crazy emperors, especially Nero. I don't even know how he survived. He criticized Nero. How could you possibly survive that crazy town guy? I have no clue. Anybody that dared rise up against Nero quickly landed 6 feet under until he was assassinated himself by, I think, the Praetorian Guard. But they got sick of his crap. They're like, this guy is crazy. We got to get rid of him, So, again, I want you to ask in your world, where in your world are you experiencing too many laws, and more laws? Kind of like lies, and more lies. So anyway, I think it's an interesting topic. As the world continues to burn and churn, I have to say it, and just completely fall apart because of all the stupidity and delusion and deception, there will be those that no matter what, the roof will be crashing in. The shells will be landing. Meteors will be falling. You know what they'll be doing? Well, I got to pass another law. Can't die yet till I pass another law. Got to pass a law. And they'll just be like robots. So I want you to think about that. I want you to take a look at what's going on in your world, your local city council, county commission, your state and federal levels about what they're doing. If you don't stand up and say something, you know what? You're just going to be the walking dead and you're just going to be a prisoner of the legal matrix. All right. I think this has been fun. I got to get out of here. I got things to do. I got to take Drake here and take him home, give him some food, and get him to sleep because we got to get up at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, hit the gym. And I got a big hearing tomorrow. Got to take care of it. It's not going to really be fun. Really not looking forward to it, but it's been fun being with all of you. So, hey, yo, you know how it goes. This is Bryce D. Nyer coming at you live from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg, where every day men and women don a uniform and do what? Go wage war against who? The enemies that seek to do what? Take the very freedoms we so often take for granted. And this is Bryce D. Nyer, and I am out of here.